All right, let's talk about what some people are calling a coincidence. I just don't buy that. Apparently, 7 AFD candidates have died right before the election. Look, I can buy. This is Germany, the AFD party. Realistically, they're probably like a kind of right-wing party. They call everybody that's to the right of Marx fascist. And this is kind of like, they're probably better than like the normal conservative party, but I don't think they're probably not conservative enough. If I see that in modern politics, especially in Western countries, I'll let you know. If you've seen it, let me know. I just, a lot of times they end up being disappointments. But anyway, so 7 are dead right before elections. Look, I can buy 1 or 2, and some of these people were old, no problem. Like the 80-year-old, I can buy that the 80-year-old, died of natural causes. But 7, really? What are the odds of that? What are the odds, even if you know a lot of old people? Like, for example, let's say Christmas is a couple weeks away, and all of a sudden, 7 old people that you know all die. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? Normally it'll be spread out. Old person will die in October, maybe a couple in November, and then, February one might die, and then March. And I could see over a year or 2-year period, you got 7 old people die, no problem. But this is during a very short period of time, right before elections. I find it hard to believe that all of those deaths are organic. And the way it's being talked about is very suspicious. They're talking about it almost like the way the corporate media talks about Muslim terror attacks right when they happen. What they do is they immediately say, this is definitely not a Muslim terrorist attack. And then usually it turns out that it is. And so they're already saying, there's nothing suspicious, there's no evidence at all, everything is fine. How would you know unless you investigated? But what a normal person would say in a situation like that is, yes, I acknowledge that this is a lot of deaths in a short period of time. And obviously, we should investigate. That's the bare minimum of what an honest person would say. Okay? When you immediately say, there's nothing to see here, there's no evidence, that is suspicious. That is suspicious. So yeah, I don't believe that at all. I think that the propaganda narrative is bullshit. And this is the other thing. Commies, one of the key aspects of commie ideology is killing as many people as possible. Now, in the modern age, they can't kill people like they used to, so they have to kind of come up with ways to give it plausible deniability. For example, medical assistance in dying. They know that optically they can't just go around and round people up and kill them, even though that's what they want to do. You see sometimes, like on the Nicole Wallace show, you get one of these lunatics lamenting the fact that it's a shame they can't round us up and shoot us. They have said that before. That was right after, I think, January 6th. That was around the time Nicole Wallace said that Trump supporters should be drone strike. So they have to come up with all of these roundabout ways to do it. So, for example, medical assistance in dying. They take something that's a controversial issue, assisted suicide, and which is only supposed to be, even during like Kevorkian, when all that was going down, the cases where Kevorkian was doing assisted suicide were very extreme cases where I believe, this was a long time ago, but I remember watching the shows. One guy had Lou Gehrig's disease. That's like a horrible end, when you're at the tail end of that disease. People who were in dire circumstances, who were miserable, in a lot of pain, things like that. So what commies do is they take a sensitive subject like that, and then they just decide to use it to kill as many people as possible. So if you look at what they're doing in some of the Western countries like Canada, they will go after, not only do they help you kill yourself if you obviously seek their help out, and they don't care. If you say, hey, I want to kill myself, they don't give a fuck. They'll do it. They'll pretend to, we'll have a consultation, but at the end of the day, they're going to give you the green light. But what they're also doing is coercing people. They're coercing people into killing themselves. They're coercing young people who are depressed into killing themselves. And so these are the types of things that they do. Abortion as like the number one thing that they do. They want mass abortions, as many as possible at any point. Just total lunacy. And so that's what they have to do. Now, in a desperate situation like in Germany, see, this is the problem that they have in Germany, and this is the problem they have in a lot of places, because they can't organically win any elections, because their politics and their policy ideas are fucking insane. So they have to cheat, they have to do all these different things in order to have power. They can't just compete normally and legally in an election, because otherwise they would not win. And so more and more people are supporting the AFD in Germany, and because one of the main things the AFD is for is rightfully deporting illegals, and also there's too many migrants that have come into the country and they want to send them back. And the population in Germany is mostly for this, and so they have a problem. The filthy commies, they have a huge problem with AFD getting more popular and winning more elections, and they're very desperate right now. They know they're going to lose a lot of these elections coming up, and I think they're doing a complete act of desperation and trying to kill as many of the candidates as possible and make it look like a natural causes. So that's what I think is going on. I could be wrong, but you tell me that in a heated election type of scenario, dealing with commies on one side of the aisle, and all of a sudden the people who oppose the commies, 7 of them end up dead, and you want me to believe that that's normal? Get the fuck out of here. That's like in Mexico. You know, you have a Mexican election. The cartel runs everything down there. They'll have Mexican elections, and all of a sudden, like 30 candidates will end up dead. Now, the people defending the cartels, they'll say, oh, yeah, it's just a normal thing. You know, what? It's just an accident. Oh, a random act of violence. You know, like they did with the Seth Rich. He was robbed. Really, they didn't steal anything from him, but he was robbed. And so, yeah, I just don't buy that bullshit. So anyway, we'll see. Who knows? I could be wrong about that. But no, I think the commies are killing people in Germany. I mean, why would it be any different than any other place that commies are? That's what they do. They kill as many people as they can and try to get away with it. So, you know, how is this any different? All right, join us tonight for the Hard News Network live stream on Rumble. That's rumble.com/user/Hard News Network, 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and I'll see you there.